Wasting Time No More by the Allman Brothers. Duane Allman has all these beautiful, nasty blues fills that he kind of fits in between Greg's vocals. So the main song is in B flat. I'm doing it in G. So it's like a G mixolydian, which kind of means it's kind of minor and major. And the harmony's kind of going from G to F. What Duane's doing is it's really almost kind of like a Miles Davis type of approach. I mean, he's not playing many notes. He's just playing them perfectly with unbelievable attack. So the one I showed in the beginning is kind of a G minor dominant 7 arpeggio. So what he's doing is he's fitting it on the back end of Greg's vocal lines. So he's sliding from the 4th to the 5th to this flat 7th. So it's kind of like almost like a pickup there. And then he hits the root, G, back to the 5th, to the minor 3rd, then to the root. So it's really quick, and almost the timing of when to fit it in is when I found it to be most difficult. I almost have to like sing the lyrics in my head to fit it right. So what makes it the arpeggio is that he's not really playing the 4th. You know, if it was just a minor pentatonic, he'd be hitting that 4th, but Duane's skipping that. Like throughout the whole song, it's really just roots, 3rds, 5ths, flat 7th, and the root again. So in that lick, it's good to know kind of where you are in the whole scheme of things. That first lick that I was showing is a minor, kind of a minor arpeggio or minor pentatonic. And so where that lives is in between your G minor shape here, and that's the E minor, G minor shape. And then he's moving up to the D minor shape, G minor. So that's your cage stuff. Okay, so it's that whole pattern, and then this whole pattern. So if you know those two patterns, it'll give the ability to kind of improvise off of it. And then if you know where all the other patterns are, it kind of lets you use it as a jump off point. Another thing about where that is located is this is the Albert King box. You know, you have your root, your G there. I mean, this is an acoustic, so I can't really bend it, but so there's that famous box here where you can get a lot of blues stuff. You got your root there, you got your, your 5th here and your blue note there. And then you got your minor 3rd here, which you can turn into a blue note by bend. And then you have your 4th here, which you can bend to the 5th. So it's good to know that all that lives in the same area. Some people teach the diagonal pentatonic, and what that does is it uses those same shapes, but you get a little bit of a run-in start from the notes behind it. So up here in cage, that's your G minor shape. So I'm gonna play G minor. And so what that diagonal pattern does is they start in that F. So it's just an easy pattern. And then also moving diagonally increases the intensity, something we all do as guitarists. But that can be a good starting point for a beginner. But I wouldn't get too attached to it, because then you're just playing just the same thing. You kind of want to know the whole pattern. So that way, if you're here, you might take a little sidebar. Then if you get here to this part, you want to know where you can go. You might be able to even climb up again and then do another diagonal pattern. So that's why I think it's another plug for caged, or just somehow to know where you are. So you want to know this lick, you want to know what notes they are, and you also want to know where they fit. So you can normally play, you know, like a major pentatonic over this and a minor. But I think for Duane's sound, you kind of need to master those arpeggios, which I haven't at all. Mine still kind of sounds like math. But you want to know, you know, if you can get those under your fingers. So that would be a major arpeggio, you know, and then for the minor. There's a great YouTube channel, Congilio. I don't even know how to say his last name. It's terrible. I'm hacking up his last name. But he's got the best blues channel. So if you're at all interested in Duane Allman or blues licks, I'll put a link below. I'd go to his channel and start trying to work on some of those arpeggios. He's got some great lessons on. The other thing that I alluded to earlier is that I feel like Duane's, it is like a Miles Davis, like the less notes, the better type of approach. You know, that first solo he takes, I feel like he's only playing like 5 notes the whole time. You know, it's just, he's just playing them with so much emotion. You know, it's really not much. I mean, at one point he's just holding the fifth and just hitting it perfectly, where it's just kind of searing your soul. So that's another thing, is like less is more, but you got to be able to make it work. You know, you can't, and that's kind of the magic of Duane Allman, is that he's doing more with less than most people do with 100 notes. You know, he's just hitting them perfectly. It is worth noting on another kind of side lesson that I learned when I was looking at that for solo, is that all great solos either have an amazing harmony that's kind of help lift them up, or they have a great rhythm section. It's really just the guitar doing the work on their own. And I know that from my own experience. You know, whenever I play a good solo, it's usually because someone's lifting me up. I can't get there on my own. And that's what happens in that song. So, you know, the song is going to be from G, just, you know, G to F, and then the turnaround is C, B, and he hits that A, and there's like a D, and he goes back to it. And so at the turnaround of a solo, he's hitting that G, so he goes to that A there. That peak on that A note is when that A note's coming under the harmony. And then he just walks it down again. He skips notes, so he goes G. There's that arpeggio again. Yeah, so Duane Allman, he's got these perfect time and fills, very tasteful, but he's doing so much with so little.